I started sailing when I was about 22 years old. And I've been sailing for over, I don't know, a lot of years, over 45 years. And the reason I'm out sailing is because when I was 12 years old, I talked to my mother over the breakfast table one day and I said, Mom, she didn't have much money. She was a single parent, clerk typist for the military. I said, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? What would be the greatest thing a person could do? She thought about it a minute. She said, you know what I'd do? I would visit the most beautiful places in the world. I would learn about the people that live there and about their culture. And I thought, wow, that sounds kind of like a cool thing. So I think it was when I was 22, like 10 years later, a friend of mine called me up from Lake Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Said, hey Jeff, I got a sailboat. Come on over here to Coeur d'Alene. Let's go sailing. I said, all right, let's do it, Dan. So we go out there and we're sailing on Lake Coeur d'Alene. We run the boat aground. We got to push it off the island. And then we end up beating back home. The boat's sealed over, water's flying everywhere, no dodger. And he goes, hey baby, ain't this cool? I'm going, yeah, I'm freezing my butt off. It's cool. And he says, no man, he says, you're not getting it. Feel the power of the wind. It's free. It can take you anywhere in the world you want to go, and they cannot tax it. Oh, yeah, well, that's a great idea. But on a 6-hour drive back from, he actually lived in Spokane, back to the northwest on this side of the mountains, I go like, whoa, okay. So I connected the dots, what my mother had said, and I realized I could do that. I could actually live that dream and be able to do it economically. So I started sailing, learned everything about it, went out and bought a 22-foot Catalina and bought like 4 more boats. And let's see, I went through 3 wives. I had 4 wives. Well, I have a 4th wife, Debbie. She's really fun. She's not here tonight. I'm sad, but she likes Albuquerque, New Mexico with the grandkids, and we're trying to buy a house down there. It's hard to do when you don't have any money. And but you know, we're still working on it. She's going to make that happen, I hope. So anyhow, I decided that she started backing off on sailing and not wanting to do the long ocean passages. It created a great opportunity for me to do solo passages and long distances. And Debbie and I sailed. We left in 1999. We sailed for like 16 years together, and she was tired of the passages, so I decided I was going to go around the world, because even though we'd sailed over 80,000 miles together, I hadn't circumnavigated, so I wanted to do that. So it seemed like the quick idea was get in a boat, drop down, circumnavigate the globe, knock it out, and get it over. So this sounds good. This is like 5 times bigger than anything I ever did. It was going to be my 2nd time to Cape Horn, which is a dangerous place. And I knew the Southern Ocean was notoriously rough. And I talked to a friend of mine, Bruce Schwab, who's done several solo around the world racing at a much higher level than what I plan to operate at. And I asked him, I said, Bruce, what do I got to look out for? What am I not seeing here? He said, well, first of all, you want to get everything as good as you can ever imagine before you start out, because you're going to have more wear, tear, and damage than you can imagine. He said, if there's a bad spot on the trip, it's the Indian Ocean. So I was kind of prepared for that the Indian Ocean might be the bad spot. And I took off, and everything went good for about the first couple of weeks. And then actually it was even sooner than that I started having trouble. But I had this Genoa. All my other sails were like brand new, but I had this Genoa that was 5 years old. It was a lee sail, and I expected it to do well because I'd had a Carol Hossey sail when I went around Cape Horn before, and it was 10 years old. I never had no problems with it. Well, this sail started to fail, and the problem was when you rolled it in on a furler to shorten it, it would wrap a little bit unevenly, and the strains and 35 knots or whatever would start to rip it. So during the course of this voyage, I ended up putting 50 patches on this sail, and the boat rolled shoulder down. I don't know why this happened on Bob Perry boat. I thought it'd be impossible, I don't know. But anyhow, it rolled down, and that sail slipped over the side and scooped up a whole lot of water. And before I could do anything, that sail ripped like 4 different ways. So I pulled it off the furler, I took it down below. I have a ketch, a 40-foot bobby ketch. I thought, this thing will sail all the way around the world with just a staysail, a main, and a mizzen. I don't even need that genoa, but it's going to be a lot slower. So I had to have it. So I started sewing on that sail. I sewed on that sail for 21 days, 7 hours a day, to get it back together. I finally hoisted it up. It's a marginal repair job at best, and fortunately it held the rest of the trip in. I think there were so many things that went wrong on this trip, it's almost impossible to mention everything. But I'm going to tell you that when you get out there running in that Southern Ocean with waves that are 20 to 50 feet high, they are close together, they are coming from different directions, things will happen to your boat that you cannot imagine.